Hello Peaches! So today I'm going to do another body mod pros and cons, and this one is going to be about tattoos because I have quite a lot, so I do have quite a lot of experience. I have more than like 40 tattoos. I haven't counted them actually in a long time, so I probably have like a lot more than 40. But yeah, I have a lot, as you can see. This entire arm is one piece. I have some on my hands. And then I have a lot on this arm as well. Up here I have some on my legs as well. Quite a lot actually, and I'm planning on covering my entire leg, my entire right leg. And then I have, one on my hip, one on my neck, and one in the back of my neck. So yeah, a lot of different tattoos, a lot of different places. And I'm just going to get into the pros and cons about them. Also, look at my new shirt. It's so cool. I love it. I bought it in a I think it's a Danish store. It's called EMP shop, I think. Anyway, it's cool. I love it. So the good thing about tattoos, the first thing is obviously that they look great. I think they look amazing. And they can give a very different kind of look. Like, you can be very feminine, or you can be very masculine, you can be very cool or very cute with them. It all depends on what kind of tattoos you get. So obviously, the first really big good thing about tattoos is that they just look amazing. The next good thing is that you can be 100% unique. Like, there's no other person like me. If I don't have tattoos, there may be some people who looks kind of like me, who has kind of the same style like me, but now that I have all these tattoos, there is no one that will ever look 100% like me. Now, I don't have the type of face that's like basic. I never been like told that I look like others, besides my dad, but I also look freakishly similar to how he looked. But other than that, I don't really have a basic face, but many people, there are some people out there who are just like, they look like every other person, that gender and that age. So getting tattoos is also a way to be 100% unique. You will never find anyone like you if you start getting tattoos. Also depending on how many and what kind and everything, but obviously no one has all these tattoos that I have. Another good thing is for goth people or people who just don't like to wear colors and just black, which I mostly wear black. I do sometimes wear a little bit color, but mostly black or white. The good thing about tattoos, when they're as colorful as mine, is that even if you wear completely black, you are still colorful. And to some people that's not something they want to be, so you can just get black and white tattoos and then it matches your dark personality, I guess, and style. But to me it's really, really nice to have some color. And I can cover them up. If I want to be completely black, I can just wear long sleeved. But it's nice for me to have some color and some life in a way. That's why I love wearing black so much. It's not because I love black, I hate colors. It's more because it looks great with my tattoos. It makes them pop even more. And this is also good for the people, who have lazy days sometimes, which I often do. You're still looking fierce and amazing and colorful even if you're just wearing sweatpants, because these give color and brightness and happiness. So yeah, that's a plus for me at least. I think that's a really big plus that you don't really think about until you have them, like how amazing it looks with just all black. On the days where we can't be bothered with putting on makeup or any fancy clothes, you still look amazing, because you don't have to do anything. You're always wearing some sort of makeup, I guess you can say. And yeah, that kind of segued into my next thing about, on lazy days, you still look amazing. So yeah, that's basically the good things about tattoos. There are more good things about them, like personal things, like you can get something tattooed that's like really special to you and like a memory so you never forget it. I have one on my hip that my dad, it's from a drawing that my dad did in the 80s. He was really good at drawing, so I got a tattoo of him. That's kind of my way of remembering him. He died some years ago, and also remember his art because he was so talented. So yeah, that's also a good thing about tattoos. It's a good way to keep the memories in a way. My mom also has some tattoos. One of them she has around her wrist is like a flower bracelet. It looks like a bracelet, and it's like flowers, and there's 3 flowers with 3 different colors. and one for me, one for my brother, and one for my sister. So that's also a really cool way of doing it. It's not like obvious, it's not like it's our names on her so that everyone knows, oh, she has her children's names on her. It's a very special way to have that memory, because just like the one on my hip, people seeing it, it's just like, oh, it's just a pretty drawing, but to you it's something very deep and meaningful, and that's really, really cool. Now let's get into the bad things about tattoos, and the first one is that they fade. I only had tattoos for about 5 years. I got my first one when I turned 18, I'm 23, that is 5 years. Well, yeah, 5.5 years. So, you know, mine hasn't faded yet, but they tend to fade over the years. Obviously the ink nowadays gets better and better, so you know, there's some old people who got them when they were sailors and stuff like that. They're very, very faded. I don't think that my tattoos will ever fade that much because it is newer ink than it was back then when our grandparents got them. But they will still fade, so they do need to get touched up, or, you know, you can just leave them if you don't want that, but then they won't look so great. So that's a bad thing about it, but it will take a lot of years before it starts to fade, so it's not like a big problem. It's not like you have to do it every 5 years. You probably only have to do it once, maybe twice, depending on how early you got your tattoos. I got them very early, as soon as I could, like on my 18th birthday. I started getting them, so I probably have to do it like twice, also depending on when I die, but probably like twice. Also depending on the colors and everything. It's a big thing, but they will fade. Most of them fade, unless you get them like when you're 80 and you die a few years later, then obviously they don't have time to fade before you die, so you can just do that if you want, I guess. Then the next bad thing is that they are permanent. Now, I love my tattoos. I'm happy that they're permanent. It can also be a good thing, obviously, because then you have this art on you forever. But if you regret it, or if you're one of those kind of people who get their boyfriend or girlfriend's name tattooed on you, then it's not so great that they're permanent. They are not 100% permanent though. You can get them removed with laser, but that is so freaking expensive, and it's at least twice as painful as getting the actual tattoo. And I am a pussy when I get tattoos. I hate getting tattoos, it hurts so bad. So I can't even imagine how much pain it will be to get them removed with laser. I just heard it should be like 10 times worse than getting a tattoo. So it is super painful and super expensive. So, you know, it's not fun if you get something you regret. So, you know, it's not fun if you have something you want to get removed for some reason. So be careful. Really think about what you're going to get, because I cannot imagine how much it will suck to get it removed with laser. No thanks. So other than that, they're permanent. Like, I will probably never be able to afford a laser removal of any of my tattoos. And I also don't want to do it ever because of the pain. So I'm one of those people where it is 100% permanent, because I'm never ever doing that laser thing, even no matter how much I hate a tattoo. You can always get them covered up, but that also really depends on like the color and the size and everything. It's not all tattoos that can be covered up. Like, I hear a lot of people who think that, who just go to a tattoo parlor with like this entire sleeve and it's like, can you cover it up? I don't like this anymore. I don't like anything on my arm. Can you just cover it up with like a butterfly or something? It's like, no, that's not how it works. And yeah, something like my Batman symbol, this cannot be covered up unless I make a big black square around it. That's the only way. You know, bigger tattoos like these ones also cannot be covered up. The only thing that can be covered up on me is probably my finger tattoos, the smaller ones. Maybe this one in here because it's so light, but yeah, it's not really going to happen. So don't rely on that, also because if you are lucky enough that you find a tattoo artist who can cover your tattoo, it's limited options you have. It's like, I can only make this thing in these colors, and it's like, do you even want that? So yeah, they're pretty permanent unless you want to spend a lot of money and a lot of pain, or just get a new really ugly tattoo cover up, because most cover ups are not good. So yeah, that's a bad thing about it if you don't think about what you're getting. Personally, I don't regret any of mine. I probably won't. because I don't get names and everything like that. It's usually those that people regret. It's the one that has names of people and everything like that. Then the next bad thing about it is job opportunities. We live in a society that for some reason don't accept tattoos. And I don't understand it. I know that people are sometimes like, well, is this just how it is? And you know that before you get them. And yes, I know it. It's not because I'm complaining that that's how it is and that I'm shocked that that's how it is, because I know it how it is. I just think we should change it. Because having tattoos doesn't make you a bad worker. And then people are like, well, if you work with people, then some of them will look at it and then they will lose customers because you have tattoos and the customers doesn't like tattoos. But it's like, well, that's the problem. That's why we need to change the world view of tattoos and piercings and everything. I know that this is how it is. I know this is how it's always been so far. But that is exactly why we need to change it. 1 in every 3 people, I think that's how I say it, have tattoos nowadays. So if you can't get a job with tattoos, no one will be working. It will be very few people who are actually working. And that's not good. But yeah, it's getting better and better each day. I feel like I see many more people with tattoos working at stores and, you know, in banks, and even like, you know, high-end jobs as, you know, in bank people and who are lawyers and getting those kind of educations. It's still not as good as I want it to be because it's still not perfect. There are still a lot of discrimination against people with tattoos. But it's getting better, and hopefully it will keep on getting better. So yeah, but that is how it is nowadays. Also depending on your country and what job you want and everything, it's still a little bit harder. It can be harder for you to find a job where you can actually show them. I've never experienced it because I never really had a job after I got tattoos. I cannot work. I'm too sick to work. I have mental problems, so I cannot have a job or take an education right now. We're trying to figure out what the fuck to do. I'm sorry, the cat is doing something. So personally, I haven't experienced it job-wise, luckily, but a lot of people will. A lot of people will experience it. It's getting better and better, but it is something to keep in mind because as society is right now, for some reason people think that if you have a tattoo that will make you handicapped and not able to do a job, even though that's complete bullshit. It honestly just shows how stupid people are. If they actually think that having a tattoo will make you less capable of doing a job, it just proves that we're smarter than them, honestly. So if you want like a certain type of job, maybe do some research about how strict they are with those kind of rules before getting a tattoo that you can't cover up. Then the last thing is that it hurts. Some people don't say that it hurts, and I don't know, there are some places where it doesn't really hurt. Like when I got Ariel, when they made her face, it didn't really hurt because it was in like the middle of the arm. There's a lot of fat right here, especially on me. So it didn't really hurt when they did like this part in the middle. But other than that, I'm a pussy, as I said. I hate the pain. I don't like getting tattooed. I hate the entire thing. Like every time I lay there and get tattooed, I'm thinking like, why am I doing this? I hate this. But then, you know, it's worth it in the end, so that's why I keep doing it. But when I'm laying there, it hurts like a bitch. And it's obviously different from person to person. Some people say it doesn't hurt that bad, but it also depends on the placement and everything. It's kind of hard to explain where to get them because at first I thought like if there's a lot of fat it doesn't hurt, but then I got my thigh tattooed. Let me tell you, I have very big fat thighs. My thigh hurt a lot. Like when I got my thigh tattoo, I was so surprised at the pain because I was like, this doesn't make sense, there's so much fat there. So that's not like a rule that you can take, like anything with fat doesn't hurt. Just make it the other way around, like anything where there's bone right underneath, like on your elbow up here, there's not a lot of skin or fat. And then anywhere where you're ticklish, like on the neck, under your arms, under your feet, in here, that hurts as well because there's a lot of nerve endings there. That's why you're ticklish. That's why people are ticklish under their arms, because there's a lot of nerve endings and stuff like that. I'm not a scientist. I don't know the exact terms, but anywhere where you're ticklish is also more acceptable to pain. Is that how I say it? It hurts more. That's just how it is. A lot of people who I know have been like, I want my first tattoo to be here, but like, don't do that. right up here, the closer you get to this part, right in here, the more it hurts. Because in here you're kind of ticklish, and also there's not a lot of skin. On the elbow is also a bitch because there's bone right here. So anywhere where there's bone or there's ticklish, it's going to hurt. So please keep that in mind. Don't start with this one up here. Let me tell you. Oh my god, this hurt. If I knew how much this would hurt, I don't think I would have the guts to get it. It's my favorite tattoo. I love it. I think it's so beautiful and I don't regret it at all. But when I was laying there, I was seriously like, fuck, why am I doing this? This is so... I will not survive this. It was so painful. I almost cried. And I'm not the type of person to cry when I get tattoos and piercings because I'm like, it hurts, but like, I'm not a bitch, you know. But this one I almost cried, and my tattoo artist, he could also just feel it on me. He was like, alright, let's just stop for now today and then we'll do the rest in a week. Because he could see that I could not handle any more of this. So definitely don't start with the tattoo on your chest because, ugh, that hurts. So yeah, that's obviously the downside to tattoos, is that they hurt because it is needles going in your skin. So yeah, just make sure that when you get your first tattoo, make sure it's a place where it doesn't hurt that much. Maybe ask around, ask on the internet. Like if you're like, I want a tattoo right here, then ask people on the internet how much will that hurt, like ish. Again, it's different from person to person. But just like I said, if you write on the internet that you want your first tattoo to be like this, everyone will say, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Just get a small one somewhere else first and then you can build your way up to this because it's a lot of pain. So that was it about tattoos. I hope this helped. If you have any questions about any of the things I said, please leave them in the comments down below and I will answer them as good as I can. Please keep in mind, I'm not a tattoo artist, I'm not a doctor. I just have a shit ton of tattoos, so I do know quite a lot about them. I have so much personal experience. That's also why I'm making this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Press the like button if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and thank you for watching.